hijacking their computers, their computer browsers, they're hijacking their browsers, they're executing a Java script onto it so that they can use the CPU power, the GPU power of the computers so that they can mine these currencies. And then last is, of course, the blockchain, which keeps the ledger of all these accounts. But of course, this is just the beginning of blockchain. There is a huge long road ahead. But what you require for a crypto mining, what are the essentials? You require a hardware, you require a software, you require software where you can mine these, and of course you need computational powers. Because whenever I launch, as an agency, I launch an attack to mine these cryptocurrencies, I need a lot of computer resources. One or two is not good enough to mine these currencies. I need a pool of computers. So that's where, that's the third essential part which will be required, which is called the pool of computers. And it is how these miners do it in a very easy stage, in 4 stages. First, of course, I as a user who has to be involved in cryptocurrency mining, I need to find a job, because these guys are looking for CPU resources, GPU resources, and then when they find a pool of computers, either they illegitimately execute a code in their browser, or they have a tie-up with them. When they have a tie-up, of course, the guy gets a cut onto it. But then when he doesn't get a cut, that means he's being hacked, he's being hijacked, and that's where a malicious activity. But then, as these guys are, you have to find a job for yourself, and then you need a wallet where your cut can be, your commission can be deposited. So that is another essential. It could be a hardware, it could be a software as well. And then apart from that, you need to start working on it. And when they work, they execute, as I mentioned, they execute a Java code, a JavaScript onto your browsers. And more often than not, you always leave the Java or the browsers always open, because you lock your computers, but you don't shut off your Internet Explorer or the Google Chrome of this world. And they keep on, using your CPU. And while they use your CPU, your battery gets drained off, your electricity bill surges up. So all these are happening at the background. But then, what this is helping is, of course, the bad guys who are manufacturing Bitcoins, Ethereum, and the various currencies of the world, cryptocurrencies in this. And of course, you don't want, why should they use your resources illegitimately without giving you a cut? And that's what is happening. And then, of course, if you are doing it legitimately, you're getting paid for it as well. So, but the focus is, of course, at the end of the day, is monetization, because at the end of the day, these agencies, these hackers, these bad guys are operating just because of the fact that they want to make money. They want to make money. So this slide is again, we have seen this in the previous presentation, but then this was the evolution of cybercrime. They started with the Melissa and the Code Red in the 90s, and it has evolved into, the ransomware attacks, which were full of them last year. For example, Petya, Bad Rabbit, and others. But then now they have gone to cryptojacking. WannaCry was also very, and that now, in the field of cryptojacking, they have come up with something called Wanna mining, which is again, a kind of a cousin of WannaCry, but in the field of cryptojacking. So that's what they're doing, and so that they can ultimately harm and use others' resources. So ransomware is still one of the topmost threat which came last year, but then cryptocurrency is also increasing. And as time goes by, this cryptocurrency will increase. As of now, it's only 8%, because people are wanting to invest more, so that more and more cryptocurrencies can come into existence. All these dark web, and now in some countries, cryptocurrency is even legal. Bitcoin is skyrocketed at $20,000. Now it's come down to $7,000-8,000 dollar for one Bitcoin. But then they're making big waves. There are currencies. There are 700 different types of cryptocurrencies which are operating now across the world because of the fact that the threat surface has increased so much. Gone are those days when you had only the PCs. Now you have your smartphones, even your servers is your endpoint at the end of it. Tabs, servers, all are endpoints, and all their CPU units or the GPU, graphical processing units, can be used to mine the cryptocurrency. So this has basically increased drastically, and it would keep on will continue in the times to come. And what it does is, of course, slowness of the network. It also spikes your CPU consumption, and obviously your electricity bills also really goes high. So this was one of the attacks which happened in India, where Aditya Birla is a very famous organization, where 2,000 computers were hijacked, and another currency called Monero, which is again, which came again. This was a big loss for Aditya Birla because the guys did not know that a pool of 2,000 computers which got crypto-jacked, and they were being used. Then I was given to understand online cover in Nepal was also early this year. They also had a crypto-jacking attack. Then now all these currencies are organizing, are being listed, and these are their values are they have a market cap to it. They are all operating. As I mentioned, there are 700 different kinds of cryptocurrencies which are available. And in the last 6 months, 1.1 billion has been stolen, which is huge, humongous. So how, what does crypto-jacking means for an organizer? Now, obviously, you're losing a lot of revenue. There's unbudgeted operating cost to it. Then, of course, there is opportunity cost where legitimate work is being hampered, because people's computers are being used for other, work, so they're not able to work on their PCs. Then, of course, there is security risk which is involved in this. Then the Reputation and the Regulatory Act also comes into play. The reputation of the organization is also at stake, which is again a big downside of this crypto jacking attacks. And then, of course, there is ethical concerns at the end of it. So how, Sophos as an organization is protecting this? So, we have a layered architecture. You can't be just, putting a firewall and, assuming that you'll be not crypto jacked. You have to have the perimeter security, you need to have the endpoint security, you need to have the mobile security, you need to have the server security. So all, has to be in place. Apart from that, I'll just go quickly through what Sophos has been developing in the last few years, and our main product which we are now focusing is on the synchronized security. That is, you have your perimeter security, which is our UTM appliance, and you have the endpoint security, which is your antivirus. So both of them are talking to each other. Obviously, both ends there, Sophos involved, and there's a heartbeat and a threat intelligence is happening between them, so that all the parameters can be shared. The moment something happens to the endpoint, the perimeter security is being informed, and so that user can be segregated, isolated, remediated, and can be brought back to the network. So I have a video which I wanted to show about one of our fascinating solutions. Can you play the video, please? Volume, please.
A new threat is heading for your network. Are you prepared? What if the threat evolves? What if it multiplies? What if it's harmless? Or so it seems. And what if it's something no one's ever seen before? The guessing game is over. Deep learning is here, at the core of the new NPCert X. A quantum leap beyond basic machine learning, Sophos deep learning uses neural networks with the power to memorize every known threat that has ever existed. Processing that information with unparalleled accuracy and speed. It identifies known and unknown threats, even future threats. And as it identifies each new threat, it gets smarter and faster, continually learning, continually predicting, continually protecting. The guessing game is over. Deep learning is here.
NPCert X, which actually complements your existing antivirus or your endpoint security, because